shine at night. Some stars shine at bright light. It's a pleasure to welcome one such star, Mr. Jeswin J. Ajaish, the resource person for the day. I welcome you, sir. He who put his soul and heart in uplifting others attained dignity. Yes, I would like to welcome all the members of faculty.
Next, I call upon Ms. Kartika to introduce our speaker. Over to you, Kartika.
Good morning, everyone. The pleasure is mine to introduce our speaker who is going to talk about the future scope of business today. Mr. Jeswin J. Ajaish, corporate trainer of No Broker from Bangalore. He finished his schooling in Nagarkoil. He completed his Bachelor of Engineering in Tirunelveli. He started his career as a BPO call center executive and moved on to the corporate ladder in multiple domains such as HR, sales, marketing, trainer, and administration. Also, he holds experience from 10 different companies, in which 6 are multinational companies and 1 central government company as well. My dear all, please join in with us and give a very warm welcome to our speaker.
Thanks, Kartika. Now, I welcome our speaker of the day to share his ideas and thoughts with us. Sir, please.
Thank you so much. It was a lovely introduction. You heard about me in the introduction, which is just a nutshell of me. Do you really wanted to know my story? My background, like how I came till here? Okay, so let me start with my journey, okay? Now, I'm a kid who was raised from an upper middle class family, but raised with the standard of a lower middle class. So I believe you would have seen a lot of people where, the family don't want their children to realize, or they need not show that they have a lot of luxury or richness with them. So they will have strict regulations for their children. Okay. And they will have a lot of rules not to do this, not to do that. With very low middle class family standards, they would be raising their kid. And I'm one such kid. Though we had a lot of wealth, but it was not exposed to me. So I was raised up with a lot of restrictions. I was not so good at studies. All right. Very below average student. There were 3 different schools where I had to switch. And in that, 2 schools told me, sorry, you are not fit for being in our school, or you're not going to add any value to our school. So please, you can move to a different school. Okay. That's how my schooling went on. Now, my dad was getting irritated very often because of the number of complaints which I used to get when I was a kid. There were so many negative enforcements around me. I started self-doubting myself, okay? And I started demotivating myself that I was thinking I was not good enough to do anything or achieve anything big in life. Now, there were a few friends as well who used to mock me, saying that you are a person who is very rich. It's just because the house which I lived was a little bigger in size in that area at that point in time. So my friends also used to mock me and they used to pull my legs. But hardly they knew how I was living and how my childhood was. I used to stay in the dressing room, which is much, much smaller in size than an ordinary bathroom. Okay. Now, having a very tough childhood, I wanted to do something in life, but have a lot of self-doubt. Okay. Since everyone was telling this, I was even hesitating to go or attend any marriage function or any get-together, right? Such a shy and a timid kid. But somehow with great difficulty, I tried to complete schooling. But again, I scored a very average mark. First of all, I wanted to pursue my career in my passion, the field which I am interested in, which is designing or multimedia arts. And this was my passion and my interest. But of course, you know that in India, mostly the parents won't agree for that. Either you should be an engineer or it should be a doctor. So I was forced to choose engineering. But still, I know for the mark which I got, I wouldn't be getting into any college. Okay. And the first college which rejected my application was the same college in which I'm speaking today. Yes, I got in a college in Tirunelveli. Okay. they allowed me, or they gave me a seat, and there I pursued 4 years of engineering. Now, being a below average student, do you think I would have performed so well? Definitely not. Even I was very much underperformer even in my college days. I was so much interested in public speaking. I was interested in sports. I was interested in designing, but not definitely into studies. So I had close to 21 arrears when I was there doing my college. Okay. And one fine day, I still remember my class teacher in the 4th year, she said, "You cannot clear engineering by the end of 4th year," which was really painful for me. So I spent sleepless nights trying to, recover from that, overcome this kind of a negative impression. Finally, I made it through. Within the 4 year itself, I cleared my graduation. But during my college days, okay, I love to speak to people. Now, today you're seeing me speaking so frankly, openly in front of a lot of people. Do you know the first time when I met a crowd of 60 people, where I had to give a speech, a seminar in front of the people? Now, I was literally shivering. My words were fumbling, and I was literally soaked with sweat. Shirt was fully wet. A few people can relate to me what I'm saying, right? That was how I was in my college days. I was really, a very shy and introvert kid. But there was one lecturer who really discovered the inner potential within me, and she helped me to groom my talents, and thereby I was able to speak in front of people. I used to host shows as an MC during my college days. Now, this was how my college life went on. But then come the tragic part of my life, where when I had to go and look for a job, this was really a critical thing. Because till now, my parents were there, they were backing up, they went to college, they went to school to look out for opportunities and to, ask for a seat for me. But now it is going to be my own effort. When I have to knock the door of a company, I have to put an effort forward, which was the challenging part which I went through. 6 months I stayed at home, not knowing what to do in my life, completely in a dilemma, not understanding what is my future, what should I choose after my college, where should I go, no idea. Okay. Now, the best part was, one day I gained all the courage within me, and I lied to my dad saying that I got a call letter from a company, a multinational company called HP. So they have called me there to Bangalore. So can I go there? It was a lie. Okay. My dad was so happy knowing that. And he said, yes, please. I wanted you, after 6 long months, I wanted to see my son going and working in a multinational company. It's a good news. But what happened in real was, when I landed in Bangalore, it was a new city for me, not knowing the language, the culture, everything was totally different for me. But still, I managed to stay there in a PG, okay, and started searching for a job, which I didn't tell to my parents. I was looking for a job each and every day, taking or boarding 2 to 3 buses. Attended 53 interviews in a span of 6 months. Not even one job I was able to get. Not even one company selected me. This is how the career which I thought of building, the start of the career itself, this is how it went on. Okay. It was so painful. I was already doubting myself. Now I had a big question mark. Am I going to survive in this city, or should I go back? But still, somewhere inside me, I had a dream. Okay. I was believing that something will fall in place, and yes, I'm going to make it big. That's all I had. Now, during these days, okay, when I was not getting into any job and everything, the only thing what I had was just a dream and a vision that someday I will achieve big. Okay. Joined to a training institute, right? Now, from that point in time, I was believing I will get into a big company. And I got a chance to meet a staff there And she told me that she know one of her friends who actually gives job to people in different companies and multinational big companies like Google, IBM, etc. I was so happy. Wow. Now I'm going to get something big in my life. I paid some money to that guy, expecting that he will fetch a job for me in such a big company. But what left out was just disappointment because he disappeared. I couldn't find him again. I lost all the money as well. Thinking that I'm such a big loser, don't know how to fetch a job for myself, and also I've got cheated by someone. Now, a lot of things adding and piling up on myself enough to really survive here, or should I go forward, or should I give it up? Okay. But somewhere again, there was an inner voice which kept telling, keep moving forward, keep moving forward. So I didn't give up over there. Okay. Finally, I got a job in a company called Wipro. You would have heard about it. Okay. Through the same training institute, right? Being so happy, but still I asked one question to myself. Always I ask this question, okay? Have I reached the place where I wanted to reach in my life? This question I keep asking always to myself, okay? And even today I do that. If the answer is no, then I would kick myself up and kick myself out of the comfort zone to go and move forward, push myself more harder. Then I understood that through job, I would not be able to make anything bigger or achieve anything bigger. I switched different companies. From Wipro, I moved on to a different company called HP. Yes, the same multinational company which I lied to my dad. I got into that company and I was in the domestic customer support line where I have to speak to a lot of people from northern part of India. I have to speak in Hindi. I didn't know even a word, but still I managed to learn through calls. Okay, remember these words. Okay, I will be reiterating this later. Okay, I didn't know, but I started to learn this language through calls. After a very hard or difficult time, after I realized that through a 9 to 6 job, I cannot reach where I wanted to reach. Finally, I got an opportunity to meet a guide, okay, who showed me the real career path. Like how today, if I'm going to talk to you about the career path as well as the direction, there was one person in my life who really took that step, and she was the reason who made me to realize there is a world beyond, yes, highly successful people in different countries. I attended seminars, I attended conferences in different countries, and thereby I understood, okay, that there is a huge world outside this small nutshell which I was believing that this is world. Okay, maybe a lot of people will also be able to relate to my story. You may be thinking or believing that this is the world right now. Maybe the greatest difficulty what you are facing right now is this, but no, there's a much bigger perspective to that in this world, which I started experiencing later. Okay. Now I grew very fast, so tremendously. Within 2-3 years, I traveled different countries. And of course, you know, whenever you're growing so fast, you have to come across a lot of hurdles, correct? That was exactly what happened in my life as well. I had to come across through hurdles. As I was handling multiple markets in different cities in India, I traveled to Chennai. Okay, one fine day, I met with an accident and I had to take bed rest, and I had no other option. During this rough patch of my life, that's when my mindset changed to a very poor mindset. Okay, when I was growing, I had a very successful mindset. But the day when I experienced this rough phase of my life, I started thinking so many things about myself, started complaining, cribbing, crying, blaming people, everything I started doing to myself. And that's when everything started falling apart. Okay. Now, during those days, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have money. And finally, I was becoming more and more angry towards myself. Why did I choose a life like this? But somehow, again, that inner voice kept telling, don't give up, keep doing. Whatever you're going through, you are going through in the right direction, keep going. All right. With that belief, I was still going through, but what to do? Practically, I didn't have any money. So I started selling whatever the things I had and started getting few hundreds of bucks here and there. With that, I was surviving. Later on, one of my friends or a close associate of mine, he gave the place for rent. Without paying rent, I was staying there for a few months because I couldn't even afford to pay the rent there. Okay. And then his family planned to rent it out to someone else. So I had to vacate that place. Now came the real tragic situation in my life. I didn't have any money to look forward for any other place to stay in Chennai. So one fine day, I sold my laptop. I got 2,500 rupees. With that, I looked for a PG in Chennai and I stayed there. Okay. Maybe after like 1 or 2 months, even I didn't have any money to pay to the owner because I started selling few things and finally I had nothing left to sell. And that fine day, that owner threw me out of the PG on the road. So a person who was mocked by a lot of people that he is from a big house, born with a silver spoon and all those, that guy was on the road that day, just crying and begging, pleading to that owner, would you please give me some grace period so I can stay in this place for 1 more month? I'm sure that I will make the payment by the month end, next month itself. But no mercy was shown. He didn't believe in me. He took the phone, he called my parents, he confirmed that there I had some backup, right? And that's when he trusted me and he said, okay, I'll give you 1 month of grace period. The only thing which I was praying was, he should not tell my parents that I am having no money and I am on the road right now crying. I was just praying that he shouldn't say that. I hope God heard my prayer. He didn't say that. He disconnected the call. He gave me 1 month of time. Now I had to go to every single place to find a job, right? Now I was on the road. I didn't have any money to even have food. Okay? I was at the zero of my life. I decided, let me start begging. Okay? I have never known how people would feel while they are begging. But the first time when in my life, when I started to beg, I could feel the shame and the pain within me. The first time I was begging the people just for 5 rupees. With that 5 rupees, I used to go to Amma Unavagam. I think a lot of people would have heard. There is in Chennai, if you give 5 rupees, they can provide you food. Right? Amma canteen, basically. So this is the place where I used to go and have food. Not just 1 day, 2 days. It was for few months together. Very hard and very difficult for me to go ahead and find a job. And finally, I got a job in a central government. So again, I asked the same question to myself. Have I reached the place where I wanted to be? But the answer was no. Then I kicked myself out. Of course, I got stabilized in my life. So I decided to come back to Bangalore now. Again, started to build my career here. But you know what happened? Unfortunately, I missed all the certificates what I had with me. The professional, educational, all the certificates. I lost it while shifting from Chennai to Bangalore. So coming back to Bangalore, no idea who is going to give me money, who's going to believe me, okay? I just have to start from scratch again, like that guy who went to Bangalore, beginner level, the same beginner level guy, once again went to that new city, not knowing anything. But yes, the best thing what I gained was the experience during that rough phase, what I went through, okay? The street learning with the people, negotiating, this is something which I learned, which I implemented in my corporate life. For every interview, I used to negotiate. HRs started, trusting me just because of the potential what I had, not by looking at the papers or the proof. So yes, That's how I started building my career. Now I used to switch to different companies from there on. Started working in 6+ different multinational companies. And yes, here I am today. I am a corporate trainer today, and I am freelancing for few company projects. I'm designing, and here today I am developing a mobile application and writing an autobiography of myself. One day I will be publishing the book. I believe it. So this is my story, guys. When you heard the introduction, or if you would have seen me, you would have had a different perspective about me, right? Did you know that this was the story behind this entrepreneur? This is the story of every single entrepreneur. And if this is not the story, then you are not an entrepreneur. All right? There would be a lot of fancy things which they show. If you are pursuing business, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, your life will be so much, glitzy. No, that's not the truth. This is the reality behind that. Now, I realized few things when I was going through this phase of my life. Let me share it with you guys. What are the learning what I had? The first thing what I learned was, be thankful. Be thankful for whatever has happened in life, right? Why is it so? If I was not going through that phase of my life, today I would not be able to speak to you guys like this, sharing my experience with you guys. So I'm really thankful for whatever has happened during that my life. Now, the second thing is, connect the dots. This is very, very important. Maybe at that point in time I was puzzled. I didn't know, but today I'm able to understand it. For example, why should I really join that particular college? Why should I meet that professor or the lecturer who helped me to overcome my fear and address the public crowd in speaking? And why should I join in the company HP? Why should I support the customers in Hindi? Today, most of the trainings, what I do, I go to rural areas. I help the people who speak Hindi. I do trainings in Hindi. So yes, every single thing what happened earlier was happening for a reason, but I could not relate. I'm able to relate to it. So always connect the dots. It will be for a reason. And then always learn from things. This is something very, 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 very important which I realized. I had a lot of options to complain. When I didn't have money for food, I could have easily complained and blamed anyone. But I learned that how valuable is money and how valuable is food for me. It's very important. Maybe I did not realize the importance of it before when I had surplus. So always life is trying to teach us something through tough times. So always I was very keen to learn something in life whenever I'm going through a rough phase. The next one is the courage, which is the most important thing. Most of the people today wanted a beautiful life, but they're not ready to take a step forward to go and approach or go and take that life for them. They are having full of fear within them, and they don't want to overcome that comfort zone where they're staying. This was a very big realization for me in my life. I took bold steps. Starting a business was a bold decision. Going to a city completely was a bold decision. I need to take a lot of bold decision in my life was one of the biggest learning which I had during that phase. And yes, never ever say no to any opportunity. There would be a lot of opportunities which will be coming to us. But if I start judging those opportunities, or if I start to listen to a lot of people, a lot of naysayers who would keep telling, no, don't take this place because it's risky. No, I cannot move even one step forward. So that was very big learning in my life. Never say no to any opportunity. Start it and then learn how to do it. This was my learning. And the last one, never ever give up. There were thousands of times in my life where I could have easily gave up. on whatever I chose in my life, because it was so tough, it was so rough path. But only thing what I decided, I'm not going to give up, how much ever tough this is going to be. All right, it was so easy for me to be like a normal ordinary person who can be working for 10 long years in a company. I could have also done that. It was so easy for me. But if I would have done that, today I would not be having a beautiful story with a lot of experiences like this to share it with you guys. I would have been sitting in some company, typing in the typewriter or maybe the keyboard in front of the computer. That's all my life would have been. So never ever give up was the biggest learning what I realized during that phase. Now guys, you listen to my story. And one thing what I wanted to share with you all today is, the only thing which kept motivating me, the only thing which kept pushing me forward, which kicked me out of the comfort zone, was a dream or a vision which I had in my mind. That was the only thing which pushed me so hard every time when I fell down. Now today, you are thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, or few of you might have thought that I want to start something on my own, which is very good. But the first step to do that is to vision where you wanted to be in your life, maybe after 5 years or after 10 years. Okay? This is the main statement which most of the organization you will be finding it, they have this. You take any organization, they will have a mission and a vision statement. Do you know why? Without mission or the vision statement, they would not be knowing the direction, where should we go. So today, if you are planning of pursuing your own career in business, or you wanted to start anything of your own, first have a vision. Where do I wanted to see myself in the next 5 to 10 years? When you do that, please don't think about your current situation. Please don't think about your current financial condition. Please don't think about your current surrounding. No, never do that. If I would have thought about my current situation back then, I would have never ever imagined that I would have explored a lot of places or gone to different successful career path. No, I would have never thought about it. So never even think about your current situation. Just dream big. Think about where you wanted to reach. Don't think about the finance. It would come to you one fine day. All right. So this is the biggest thing. First thing what you need to keep in mind. Have a vision.